Hey guys, Matt from Crank Engineering, and we're going to progress a little on the metalworking topics in the videos coming up, and that's really because I'm at that stage on my project bike, so I figured I may as well record some of these things and share them with you guys as we go. So the next topic I want to talk about is just some basic tools you might need to start to collect if you're following along with some of our metalworking challenges. And our first metalworking challenge was to build this quite simple dustpan, and it involved just simply cutting up a sheet and folding it into the right shape, so just bending it into shape. But if we want to get a bit more sophisticated, we need to add two other metalworking operations, and that's shrinking and stretching, and that's to get compound curves in metal that we can use on our motorcycles for fenders or for tanks or side covers or whatever it might be. So there's a couple of tools we're going to need to start looking at, and probably can't make them, you're probably going to have to buy them. So let's head to the bench and have a quick look. Right, so probably an essential tool you're going to need at some point is a sandbag and mallet, and I've got a couple of different examples here that I've got in my collection, and you're going to need something similar to these to get you started if you wanted to make something a bit more difficult or compound. And here's a teardrop I've just been bashing out today with these tools. So to make compound shapes like this, we're stretching the metal in the dome here, and then we're shrinking around the edges to get this flange up. So there's a couple of extra operations here that involve more than just bending and cutting the metal. So to do that, some of the tools we're going to need are sandbags and mallets, and I've got a couple of examples here. So this is one I purchased a couple of years ago from a local vendor here who made this sandbag or beater bag. It's got a few different names, but it's really just a couple of pieces of leather with an inset piece here, and I've got mine filled with just sand, dried sand. And if you've watched my shop tour video, you'll see I have an oven in my shop, and I use that to dry sand for a couple of other reasons, but one of them is also to fill these. So you can fill them with steel shot, but I don't have access to steel shot, but I do have access to plenty of sand at the hardware store, and I've got an oven to dry it. So I've dried some sand, put it in here, and this one's got some rivets here on the back that close this little part of the seam that was opened for filling it with sand. So it was shipped empty. And I purchased this pair of mallets from a local supplier, and they've not marked, so I'm guessing they're just a cheap import one. But this particular pair was the first pair I bought and have served me reasonably well so far. This second bag and mallet came when I attended a course, and this was part of the course costs. And this is also similar construction, leather bag. Slightly different. This one's got a Velcro seal on the side, so I can open that Velcro and fill or remove sand from it. And it's got quite a soft top here. And the idea is obviously we can make an impression or depression in the bag, which will help support the metal that we're hammering underneath it. So it came with this mallet. This is an American mallet, made in the USA, Trusty Cook it says on here. And I have found a vendor in the US who sells these mallets, so I will put some links to examples of this equipment in both the US and Australia, and I'll try and find a vendor in Europe who also supplies stuff like this. You don't have to buy anything fancy. I have found though that I figured these hammers were probably a little bit light for my liking, and this one, I think this TCB M3 is 3 pound. This one's actually quite heavy, and I can only swing this for a couple of minutes before I get quite tired. So you might find you purchase a hammer and it'll either be too heavy or too light. So you might end up collecting a few until you find the one that works best for you. So there'll be some links around the video somewhere, just to give you an idea where you might find some of these items. You can get them on eBay or on online vendors, tool stores, specialists like that. Eastwood in the US carry mallets a lot like this, and some of the specialty suppliers in the US carry these hefty mallets as well. So check them out. The next projects will probably require sandbag and mallet, and as will the metalworking challenges. So if you're following along and you want to keep up, just have a look out and see if you can pick up something like this for your own shop to keep up with the projects we've got going on. Thanks for watching.